SUV with the lights on. I don't want a dead battery. Hi, boys and girls. How many of you guys pray? Can you raise your hand if you pray? Okay, when do you pray? Can anyone tell me when they pray?
When I have a bad day.
That's very good. When do you pray?
Every day.
Every day is a good answer. Anyone else when you pray? So you pray before you eat? You pray before you go to bed? I'm going to tell you about a story that happened to me. It's the first time I remember praying when I was a very little child. I was 5 years old. Is anyone 5 years old here? You're 5 years old. I was your age. It's the first time I remember praying. And you know when I prayed? I prayed when I was really scared. So I was a little boy. It was a winter time. Back in Michigan, it was very cold. I was sick. I was just getting over the chicken pox. Did anyone know what the chicken pox are? Okay. Older people do, younger people don't.
Amen.
So I was just getting over the chicken pox. My older brother and older sister had just gotten over the chicken pox. But I was home and I was in my pajamas. How many of you guys wear your pajamas when you're sick? Yeah. I was still in my pajamas. My brother and sister, they came home from school. And they weren't in their pajamas, but I was in my pajamas. My mom was baking cookies. And they smelled so good. They were chocolate chip cookies. And she said, you can't eat them yet. They're still too warm. But after supper, we're going to have chocolate chip cookies. Fresh made chocolate chip cookies. So my brother and sister were home from school. And my brother said to my mom, or my mom said to my brother, Tim, my older brother's name is Tim. She says, Timmy, can you go out and get the mail? Now, we lived in this little house, kind of out in the country, and our mailbox was on the opposite side of the road, and we had a really long driveway. So my mom said, just before my brother went out the door, he put his coat on, put his brown hat on, and she said, remember, when you go out to the street, look both ways, look right and left, before you go to the mailbox and get the mail. So he said, okay, and as he was walking out the door, my mom wasn't looking, he grabbed a cookie. And he ate a cookie. I didn't see that, of course. He told me that later. So my brothers went out to get the mail, and I was at home, and I was in my pajamas, and my sister was reading a book. And all of a sudden I heard a knock on the door. And my mom said, Tommy, go see who's at the door. It might be Grandma and Grandpa. They're going to come over to our house tonight. So I went to the door and I opened up the door and there was a man I didn't recognize. And he says, is there a little boy with a brown hat and a coat? Does he live at this house? And I said, and my mom came behind me. She says, what? Why are you asking? She says, there's a little boy that was just hit by a car out on the road. So my mother, she starts running down the driveway. And I see my mom running down the driveway and I'm scared. So I just had some slippers on and my pajamas, and I go running down the road, and my sister's crying behind me. She heard, and she's running down the road after me, and I'm trying to catch up to my mom. And as we get to the end of our very long driveway, I see a car with a flashing light. You know what a flashing light is? It was a policeman. The lights were flashing. And I looked over and there was my brother laying on the ground. And his eyes were closed. And my mom had run out there and she got way ahead of my brother, and, way out there before me. And she was sitting next to my brother, stroking his head, talking to him, but his eyes were so closed. And another neighbor came over and she grabbed my sister and me and took us back to the house. And my grandma and grandpa came over to the house and we were all so scared. I didn't know what was going to happen to my brother. My mom and dad were at the hospital. I saw the ambulance come and pick up my brother and take him to the hospital. And I was so scared, and my grandma and grandpa said, we need to pray. We need to pray for my brother. We were so worried. So we all knelt around in a circle, and we all closed our eyes, and it's the first time I remember praying because I was scared. And when it came my turn to pray, I closed my eyes and folded my hands. I said, "Dear Jesus, please make my brother well again." And we went around, my grandma prayed, my grandpa prayed, my sister prayed. And then when we got up from the prayer, we heard a car coming in, and it was my mom and dad. And they came in the house and they said, "It's a miracle. Timmy is okay. Timmy is okay. He just has a broken arm, and he has something called a concussion." I didn't know what a concussion was. The only thing bad that happened was he threw up some cookies. I don't know what happened in the hospital. He threw up some cookies. So I remembered, that was the first time I remember praying. It was praying when I was really scared. How many of you have ever been scared? It says where 2 or 3 are gathered in the Bible, God will come and be in the midst of us. So whenever you're scared, you can pray by yourself, or you can pray with your brothers and sisters or your parents, and God will be closer to you. Okay?
Amen.
Okay, boys and girls, that's the story for today.
Amen.